So then, we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage. So then, we can understand the time of the end as per Yeshayahu the prophet. We find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. So as the Savior then in his holy cities, obviously returning on the land of Cush, firstly obviously his presence upon the Holy of Holies, and as the other cities also are showing up on Asia Minor, the 7 cities as described by Yohanan, then we find ourselves understanding this time, where then these holy cities then obviously directing the world once again, as it was during the time when he ascended until 1009. It was his 1,000 years of directives, then the 1,000 years of deceit from 1009 to 2009. And then we are during the time of the restoration period, where we find then these holy cities returning, and then the trade of the end obviously starting. So then, what we find out, what's going on as far as searching, we find then very interesting news regarding then New York. There is a very important article. What they name is then alternative trade. So this article came out, and what we can understand of these is signs of the new trade system. So then, let's try to understand these exchanges and then what is going on with the trade practices. The name is then Exchanges and Alternative Trading Platforms. It is from May the 2nd. You find these on then Reuters, very important news media ever since then the 1851. More than 100 years of tradition, and we find these then combined with the BRICS cable that must be laid in the ocean, starting then in Brazil from July and onwards, 37,000 kilometers of cable under the sea. So then we read these and we find ourselves then absolutely amazed what then Daniel had shared with the world as far as and in the time of the end knowledge shall increase. You find it in a number of places where then these transactions are taking place then alternative. The name is then alternative trade. You find these information from exchanges and alternative trade platforms about the relationships with the high frequency trading firms as part of these trade practices. Extremely important information because they are very startled, and then they give some very important numbers as far as this new type of understanding of trade. But what can we gather from this? We find then what Mr. Xi then went to South Africa, lining up the situation then for July, and these platforms are not truly something new. They are only doing behind the scenes But then the government once again tried to take control and so on and so forth, but they won't be able. Another type of news we find then we should watch this very closely. The other type of news, besides this very evident understanding of alternative trading, you find then US is trying to impose and then excluding China from the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership. It is absolutely scandalous. We find then these other news extremely concerning because US is trying to extend the time of the seat, and it was explained many times before. Daniel the prophet in 2nd chapter was then involved with this understanding of the statute, and he explained the many sections of the statute. And then in the 3rd chapter, then king of Babylon is trying then to make up his own statue, the entire statue of gold. And obviously at the end of it, he was not able to get what he wanted. So then, this exclusion of China by an alternative mega trade. So then, let's evaluate what's going on. These news came from May 3rd, also from a British newspaper. The name is BRICS Post. So then, watch very closely. Beijing will counter US then onwards regarding then forming a trans-Pacific partnership that excludes China by an alternative mega trade system in the Asia Pacific. Then we find exclusive. Then New York is then involved with this probing situation of alternative trading practices. Then you find the BRICS coming to Brazil in July and the BRICS cable under the sea. So then you already having step by step formation and understandings of this new trade system. This shows us what Daniel had explained as far as knowledge shall increase. What can we gather of this? The amount of money involved with this is absolutely amazing. The amount is truly big. Not only this, then the president of China went to South Africa and they closed up many deals. But then what can we understand prior of the time of the new system then becoming worldwide? What do we understand of then the combat of the end? We must have this in mind because the Northern Kingdom, the Soviet Union, is then returning very strongly, and then there is the Gentile Netzer. You find these in Daniel the 11th chapter. We are speaking then of the Socialist World's Party. As we understand the trade of the end, you find then very strong evidence on Friday the May 2nd regarding then this particular topic from Reuters. You find then the United States trying to exclude China from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, And then you find Brazil laying down this cable on behalf of the BRICS. You find then the president of China visiting then South Africa, lining up more situations, and we find then the Soviet Union, or then the Northern Kingdom, then facing many kinds of sanctions imposed by these very countries they are trying to extend at the time of deceit. That's a portion of it. The second is then the combat of the end. What do we read then, 11th chapter of Daniel, and then verse 1:4? And the kingdom of the north shall come with much equipment. It is speaking of the preparation for the combat of the end. These situations, they are working simultaneously. Africa is becoming then a very powerful place, the Southern Kingdom. Then you find the Eastern Kingdom, China, and you find in the Northern Kingdom then the Soviet Union. Not only this, but the countries that are socialists must unite themselves. You find in the Northern Kingdom coming up with much equipment, military equipment, and the world then buying from them. And then you find the organization of these combat of the end organized by then China and the Soviet Union. Then we understand the Netzer, the Gentile Netzer, coming from this section of socialism. As it was during the time of the Northern Kingdom, so the later status of the Soviet Union must become greater. This is what we understand then as far as Daniel and its particulars. So then, these are then the indications given by Daniel the prophet as far as the restoration period Gentile level. Not only this, but then we find the 62nd chapter of Yeshayahu, directly related with the sons of Ishmael. These skirmishes amongst these countries, once you understand the instructions, you find how weak they are as far as what they are projecting of the future. Try to understand, they can't get around the holy instructions. What was given 1,000 years, it was 1,000 years they did what they wanted. Either bad or not, right or not, positive or not. But this time, the deceit then is gone. But then the desire to do what they did for so long, so as the king of Babylon. What is the main objective from the Messiah regarding these factors? Firstly then we find the 62nd chapter of Yeshayahu, where then the sons of Ishmael, those using turbans, or then the glory, or then you find then the beauty. Some translations they use in other kinds of names, and then giving you the understanding of the restoration of what they used to have in the past. They were trustable, trustworthy, and they learned these practices with the first son of Ibrahim. Thus then, China was chosen for this time then to move on and then have the forward motion of this initiation of the transitional time. Later, when the system then becomes downloadable and it's already uploaded, it's only waiting for the proper time. Then the freighters or the merchants of the earth shall then be great. But what is the most important? The Messiah said nations or people, they can earn the entire world, but at the end then their souls are lost. So what is the most important? This world has no security as far as the plan of salvation. The Messiah said, like the flowers, they grow sometimes in a field a nice day, then the flower is nice and beautiful, and then later on it withers away. What was the understanding of the Messiah? What he was trying to say? There's so many wishes of the people regarding then money, regarding status, regarding then what this world can give. It's for a short time. This is what the Messiah said. So then what should be questioned then and evaluated in our consciences regarding this factor? The Messiah said at the end, people are going to be doing the mundane situations. They're not concerned with tabernacling, the true way of salvation, understanding the path. They're not interested in understanding then the instructions of Moses. People are interested in then having a nice home, then nice gifts, a nice job, lots of money, and travel around, and so on and so forth. But then at the end they shall be caught unawares, because they have the wrong understanding as far as the instruction is concerned. So then, Daniel the prophet, he indicated then the time of the end shall to have lots of knowledge, and truly did. You find indications of the new trade system already linking up Brazil with Portugal. It is in fact the BRICS cable. And the BRICS bank is the very bank that's going to give people these understandings and then the forward motion of this initiation of trade. Then you find what it's named then these alternative trading platforms. Fancy words, only explaining there is a new trade system in the market and they want to try to disguise it. Second, you find in the U.S. trying to extend then the time of the seat and trying to exclude China. How ludicrous! How stupid! How they can then exclude China? And then you find the BRICS cable in Brazil. So if you have the minimum of understanding of the instructions, and you understand there is no heaven to go to, there is not a place when a person dies then going to be flying around then in the heavens from planet to planet, or similarly. Once a person dies without the Messiah, it is straight down. The Messiah was concerned with the souls of the people. That's why he was very firm. What is it to you if you gain the whole world, then at the end, then your soul is lost? He is explaining then going to the inferno. This shows us his concern with the souls of those who are in this world. When a person leaves the body, the soul of the person is a living being. Your soul is a living being. Have you ever tried then to put your hand in front of then a pipe of an aspirator? Does it not suck your hand in it? When a person leaves the body, it is sucked down. It's not very nice down there. The Savior said many times. But then the world is always giving another understanding, another type of salvation. Have we not heard this from 2 Corinthians 11:4? That's why many times then you find in Ecclesiastes, you find over there areas of Sheol, other places you find Inferno, other places you find torment. So then, people in this world, they should be firstly concerned with their own souls. Your work won't save you at the end. Your money won't save you at the end. Your nice works won't save you at the end. Only tabernacling can save you. And as we are then experiencing a period before of the holy city on the land of Cush, as per the instructions of the prophet, this is what each individual should wishing for. The first holy city on the land of Cush, and then the 7 cities in Asia Minor, and then many other cities in the world, in receiving directives from the people of the holy cities, as you find in Yehuda, known as Jude. They were on their way of forming another holy city. But then, what is important, huh? People are saying then the world is going then to the heck. People understand the world is going to be destroyed. But then the problem is not the world being destroyed, because we find these in our holy instructions. The problem is the soul lost. It is a torment down there beyond imagination. Can you imagine? The Messiah was explaining of a person who was rich during the lifetime of this age. Then a person died, and the soul went straight down. Then he wanted a drop of water in the midst of a torment. Now, when you understand as a rich person, you can drink a cup of water, but then wishing for a drop only from a person who was so unfortunate during the lifetime. The place down there is awful. Words can't describe it. That's why the name is Infernal or Sheol. A place of a torment beyond understanding. Human beings were never made to be in those places. That's why the Messiah came and he taught and he formed the holy cities, so then the people would be linked with it. The Spirit, the Divine Spirit, would link up your soul with the Holy Spirit, or Ruach HaKodesh. Then you'll be permanently linked up with Him. Your job, your money, your bank won't save you at the end. You breathe your last. If you don't have tabernacle in your understanding firmly, it is straight down without a doubt only once. A person can't return from there. That's why the Messiah had chosen an example of a rich person, a person that was never lacking anything in this age. And a person was absolutely wanting a drop of water. For some people, it is stupidity. But Shaliach Shaul already provided the understanding. Those who are perishing, try to understand, those who are perishing, they make mockery out of it. Thus they are caught unawares, as the Messiah explained in Luke chapter 1:7. So then, we already found more evidences of the new system. Nations being startled because of this new trade system. You find the nations trying to extend the time of the seat, sanctions trying to be imposed on the Northern Kingdom, and then you find the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, then trying to exclude China. We have to make a decision. Either we read Daniel and we believe what he said, and we try to take care of our own souls first, and then leave the cares of the world as secondary. Try to understand, there is no God in this contaminated world. There isn't. If you don't talk of tabernacling, God does not exist. What you find is a system who has stolen the presence of the Creator Himself from the holy cities. And what the Messiah intended for only those who are then obedient was scandalized. But the holy cities are returning. And the Messiah himself has said, and the peace of the earth shall be removed. Those were his words, not mine. He spoke via Yohanan, read Revelation. And the peace of the earth shall be removed from it. So then, we find this understanding is very true. Now the point comes as then, when can people have more certainty of tabernacling? There is no more certainty. People always want more. But let's evaluate how much they can talk of it. Most people are like sponges, they understand. They always have to be fed. The Holy Creator has made this world, and He's tabernacling for a reason. He made the heavens and the earth, and they should be linked up with Him. However, when the Miltha was then stolen from the holy cities, the world then started a new world order. Started in 1009, ended in 2009. And nations are truly in trouble. So then, what are they expecting from their own future? Besides the holy instructions, when they die, where they're going to be at? They have to ask themselves. Without tabernacling, a person is not going to rest. And also comes the restoration of Israel later. Firstly, then comes the holy cities must return. So then, later, they're going to explain yet more of the Strait of the End in the 62nd chapter of Yeshayahu, and then Revelation. As nations are then extremely disorganized, they're already having some glimpses of what they expect from the new system. They can't control it. It comes via online internet, where many people in the world, they can have plain understanding of the new system. It is very simple. However, how they are going to charge taxes from this new system, let's watch and observe. Please stay tuned.